Hey everybody, happy Wednesday afternoon. It's very strange to be doing a pre-recorded, I won't lie to you, but I just wanted to try it out this week and see what you think. Let me know, by all means, I'd love to hear. Okay, so don't think because it's a pre-recorded that we're going to skip the music, because we're not, and I have been laughing all day about the song I'm going to play for today's ginger steamed snapper. I could remember the name of the band. I remember the song had something about fish in it. I just couldn't remember the name of the band. I could remember where they played. I remember I saw them at the Byron Blues Fest years ago. I don't know if many of you are going to know this band or even this song, but since we're cooking fish, it's a song about fishies. So here's my song of the day. And I'm only going to play 20-30 seconds of it because we know you get cut off if you play any more. Anyone know who this band is? I'm so happy that I remembered it. It's called The Cat Empire and this song is called Fishies. Anyone ever heard of it? I love it. All my songs are on a Spotify playlist, which I post from time to time, and you can hear all the songs from all my videos. Not all, the last probably 15. Just getting to the chorus. That's it. So that is The Cat Empire with Fishies, if you want to go listen to that song. I love it. Okay, so today we are cooking ginger steamed snapper, which is so fabulous. It's a recipe that comes from my friend Debbie in Melbourne. She used to have a cooking school in Sydney where she taught lots of people how to cook lots and lots of things. And the recipe can be found in our third book, It's Always About the Food. I've sort of halved 2/3 of the recipe just because it makes a lot and we're just cooking for 2 people at the moment. I'll go through the ingredients that you'll need and the utensils. Okay. Let's start with the utensils. You'll need a shallow frying pan or pot like that that'll fit as many pieces of fish as you're cooking in one flat layer. It's really important, okay? I don't want them on top of each other. You'll need a little saucepan for your dressing ingredients. There are 2 parts to this dish. 1 is steaming the fish and 2 is making the dressing, and both are so simple, you'll see. Ingredients. I've got 2 lovely giant snapper fillets. They're very big. These are like 300 grams each. They're just enormous. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That's what I got. And they have been skinned and boned. Could leave the skin on if you want. I just don't like how it curls up when you steam it. So I prefer it off. Then we're going to need, for the steaming, we need some ginger, a knob, which you need to wash because we're not going to peel it. And about... a teaspoon of salt. So before I go to that, I'm going to go through the dressing ingredients. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? We have got equal quantities of light soy sauce, oil, and you can use, oil. You can use any oil. I'm using grapeseed. You can use peanut, vegetable, sunflower, safflower, any unflavoured oil. You could even use light olive oil. And mirin. If you don't have any mirin, you can use sherry. So equal quantities of those, and for this amount I'm doing about 1/4 cup each. We need 2 green onions, spring onions, shallots, scallions, whatever you want to call them, and 1 bird's eye or long red chilli. Of course, to garnish we need some coriander. If you don't like coriander, just leave it out completely. That's okay, but it is delicious if you like it. And some sesame seeds, which can be toasted or raw. I'm using raw tonight. All right, so let's start by steaming the fish. In your pan, we'll start off by steaming the fish. So I'm going to take my knob of ginger and I'm going to slice it into maybe 6 slices. We just want to get as much surface area of the ginger as possible. Oh, that smells so good. Into the pan, I'm going to chuck in my salt and I'm going to put in probably about to say a half a cup of water, okay? Turn it on, bring it to the boil. I want the salt to dissolve and the ginger to just get the flavours of the ginger to be infused in the water before I put the fish in. If possible, have your fish at not freezing temperature. Take it out of the fridge maybe 15-20 minutes before you start. That way the fish can just slip gently in and start to cook rather than come out of the fridge when it's freezing and go like, ah, when it hits the water. We're putting it into hot water, okay? Don't really think the fish does that, but you know what I mean. All right, so bring this to the boil. Give it a bit of a stir around to get it going. In the meantime, take your small saucepan where your dressing is going to be made and just add your oil, mirin, and light soy. I'm just going to bring it to the boil. So just bring it to the boil, and as soon as it starts boiling, turn it down and it can just sit on a simmer while the fish is steaming. Okay, so just keep an eye on that. I've put it on a high heat for the moment just to bring it to the boil, a medium-high heat I should say, and let's go back to concentrating on this. So as soon as this comes to the boil, make sure your ginger is spread across the bottom because you're going to sit your fish sort of on top of the ginger pieces. Well, that's how I do it anyway. So let's pretend that's been boiling for a couple minutes, okay? In the interest of time, as soon as it starts to boil, I'm going to put my fish on top of it. And I'm watching it intently, waiting for it to boil. And we know what they say, a watched pot never boils. But we know it will. It will. Hope you're all having a good day, by the way. I do miss the chatter that we get in the live sessions. It's not quite the same because I'm chatting away and there's no one there. But I know you will be there. So hopefully you're just sitting there nodding and smiling and going, oh yeah, Okay, boiling. See that? Water. And you see there's not much. It's probably a half a centimetre, if that, okay? I don't want my fish to be sitting in all the water. I want it to be half in the water, if that makes sense. So I'm going to put my fish one on top there. Oh, these are big fish fillets, my God. See what I've done? See, you can see that the fish is still sticking out of the water, which is what I want, because we're sort of half poaching, half steaming, and then the lid goes on, and I've left it on a high temperature, and as soon as it starts to get a lot of steam, which is about, you can see because I've got a glass lid, it's easy to see, I'm going to turn the heat down to medium and let it cook. It's going to take about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes depending on the thickness. These are thick babies, so alright, lots of steam. I'm going to turn it down a bit now. Let's have a look. Yeah, turning it down to medium. Now let's prepare our toppings. We've got the shallots and the chilli. This has come to the boil, this dressing mixture. Yum. Have a smell of that. It's just beautiful, just beautiful. Turn it down to low. Nothing needs to happen to that anymore. That's ready. Needs to be boiling hot when we pour it over the fish before serving. So half of the shallots we're going to put on top of the fish, and then we're going to cover it with the sauce or the dressing, and then the other half of them we're going to put on top at the end so they're still fresh. So half will be wilted and half will be fresh, and the chilli I'm going to do the same. So let's slice these, and the nice way to slice them for this sort of dish is to slice them on the diagonal. You can do it as thinly or as thickly as you like. It's nice if they're, thick enough to have a bite, but thin enough to not be like chewing on big onion pieces. You know what I mean? Alright, so let's slice nicely. And I'm going to go all the way to the green ends, but not use the green ends. I found a recipe for the green ends the other day in Neil Perry's new cookbook. He has a recipe for, I think it's called it scallion oil or green onion oil, and he uses the ends of the green onions or the scallions or the shallots to make an oil that he then flavours different things with. So that's quite a nice use for it. So I'm going to store all my onion ends to make theoretically to make a green onion oil, but in practice I'll probably throw these ones out, I'm sorry to say, but let's be real. Okay, so I've got my shallots sliced. I'm going to do the same with the chilli. It's up to you, seeds or no seeds, chilli or no chilli. I find that in this amount of fish and sauce, it's actually okay to put the seeds in. It makes them spicy, but not terribly because there's not that much. But it's your call. If you don't like spicy, leave the seeds out. Take the seeds out. Look, this is not good slicing. My knife is not as sharp as it used to be. All right, let me just concentrate a minute here while I'm slicing these up. Okay, so you can see I've just got those chopped up. I'm going to set them aside. We need to get a serving dish, and I like to serve this at the table in one dish. Even if I'm doing 4 or 5 or 6 fish fillets, I'll do it in a big pot or take the saucepan. You can take this to the table actually, which is also a lovely idea. Serve it with a spatula or a slide and a serving and a spoon for the sauce, and it just gets absolutely mopped up in about a second. Okay, let's have a peek at the fish. Remember, because we're going to be putting hot oil and dressing on top of the fish, it could be a little bit undercooked. That would be fine. It would be actually no problem. But these are honestly the thickest snapper fillets I have ever seen. The thinner part of it is actually not even cooked through. So I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. I've never seen such big fillets in my whole life. So I'm just going to turn it up and let them cook. The sauce is simmering. Hopefully you've got some rice on. It goes beautifully with just some steamed basmati rice. You can do 1 cup of rice to 1.5 cups of water. Put it in a saucepan, bring it to the boil with some salt, put the lid on, turn it down to low and just let it steam for about 20 minutes and that's your rice done. I would blanch some snow peas and there's dinner. If you have a look, there's an IGTV video that I did some weeks ago in Curry Week, and I did a steamed basmati rice and a cucumber salad, which would also go beautifully with this dish because the cucumber salad is just very light and refreshing and goes very well with the salty soy. Just a thought. Just waiting for this fish to steam now, and let's have a look. Okay, so I'm just going to take out the smaller pieces because they're just about cooked through. And remember, they will continue to cook as they sit there. You know, you don't take it straight from this dish straight to your mouth, and you know, but that is a big fish fillet. How are we going with that? Yeah, they're really not quite cooked. So give them another minute. You know how there's a smaller part of the snapper fillet and a bigger part? Well, I've taken the smaller part out, and I'm also going to discard the ginger. Okay, my sauce is simmering, and there's really nothing else to do except maybe talk to you about what I'm thinking to do next week. I've had quite a lot of messages from all of you about what I should cook next week. I've had a request for lamingtons, which is a nice thought. I've had a request for chocolate chip cookies, which we did already right in the beginning. I think that was my second session. And I'm just thinking of lots of different things, and I'll think about it today and tomorrow, and I will let you know. I'm going to do 2 live sessions next week, hopefully one on Tuesday and the other one to be advised. You know, since we have a bit of freedom here in Sydney now, there's people to see and places to go and appointments to be had, most importantly. You know, I've got to get my hair cut, have my eyebrows done, but I've got a few little things that I need to do. So I've got to make those appointments and fit in these things around those appointments in the next week or so. You know, everyone in Sydney now is madly rushing around doing appointments and things. People in Melbourne, you'll be there soon, I hope, 3 weeks. And the rest of the world, you've been doing it for ages. All right, how are we going with our fish? All right, that will do. It is just about cooked through, which is perfect. So I made a batch of this last night because that's actually what we had for dinner last night. And I had it, put it in the fridge. We didn't finish it all. I put it in the fridge and had the rest for lunch today, heated up in the microwave. And I've got to say, it was really yummy. I didn't have any rice left, which was such a shame, but it was actually delicious. I'm just trying to sort of organise my fish to fit in this dish, since these are the biggest fish fillets I've ever seen in my life. This is enough for 4, at least, maybe 3. Maybe 3. Okay, so put your fish. I like it to be in one layer. It's not, but that's okay. It's just about in one layer. Turn this off, move it to the side. you know what, I say it doesn't matter, but of course it matters. Let me get this piece of fish out. No, can't do it. Too hot. You know what I mean? I would like it spread out in one layer in your serving dish, okay? It's nearly there. Not quite. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take half our shallots or green onions and put them on top, and half the chilli. And I will remember to wash my hands after I've touched it. And this sauce, which is boiling, is now going on top. I'm going to give it a bit of a mix because sometimes as it sits, it separates. The oil, of course, will separate from everything else. So I just want to pour it over. You can see what I'm doing. I mean, it's quite funny that I've taken, 15 minutes to do this. When it's you'll see when you do it, it's literally a 5-minute dinner, as long as you've got everything prepped already. So that's it. Dressing on. Turn that off. Now, the remainder of the onion. I just like it that some of them are fresh and some of them are wilted. It's sort of a nice combo. The rest of the chili. How does that look? Now, of course, I'm going to add my sesame seeds. Throw them all over the stove as well. And some fresh coriander leaves. And that is dinner done. It's really a 5-minute thing. It's a fabulous, fabulous recipe. And still to this day, and I've been making it for quite a few years now, my family say it's their favourite weeknight dinner. And what I love about it is that it's light, it's healthy, it's a great antidote to all the cakes and stuff that we make and we love to eat. And what you'll see is the fish is just so soft, it just flakes off and you just get this beautiful fish. It's really good. And of course you need steamed rice for all that sauce or dressing. That is it from me. I hope you enjoyed the session and I hope that your fish is absolutely delicious. Please let me know what you think of it, and please let me know if you enjoy these videos or you much prefer the live ones. I quite like them. What do you think? Let me know. Have a good rest of the week, everyone, and happy cooking. Stay safe.